Welcome back to another deep dive into the tech that helps us create content, specifically speech-to-text tools and how to get results without blowing your budget on APIs. I've been experimenting quite a bit with OpenAI's Whisper and some diarization setups, but I've realized there's a much faster path for turning long-form videos into viral clips. Let's start with the background, because Whisper is genuinely impressive as an open-source model that turns audio into text with incredible reliability. When I first used it as an API, it was great, but every single transcription call cost money, which makes you hesitate before batch processing dozens of files. I was also missing out on diarization, which is the magic that separates voices so you know exactly who said what in a multi-person conversation. The good news is that because Whisper is open source, you can actually run it yourself without needing a degree in computer science. If you search GitHub, you'll find ready-made repositories and Colab notebooks that wire up Whisper and diarization so you can run it entirely online. This approach is incredibly convenient because you don't need to install complex Python dependencies or own a super powerful GPU to make it work. My testing process was pretty straightforward, involving a public Colab notebook that bundles everything into a series of executable cells. First, you run an install step to pull dependencies and model weights, then you upload your audio and eventually download a transcript with speaker tags. However, in practice, you have to watch out for large model files, as downloading gigabytes of data can take several minutes every single time you start. Because Colab containers are ephemeral, they wipe clean after you close them, which becomes quite annoying if you are batching hundreds of episodes. Also, diarization is not always perfect, as it sometimes struggles to differentiate voices in audiobooks, or gets confused by background noise in interviews. Then there is the issue of formatting, since Whisper output often needs a follow-up step to fix weird punctuation and strange line breaks. When your goal is to turn a single long episode into dozens of polished short clips, these small manual cleanup steps really start to add up. I also considered the API route, which is super low friction for one-off tasks, but for creators with massive content libraries, those costs add up fast. Running things locally solves the cost issue but demands serious hardware, while Colab saves on hardware but wastes time on setup and downloads. This brings me to the core problem. Creators don't just need raw transcripts. They need a system that finds the best moments automatically. They need a pipeline that takes that long video, chops it into vertical-ready clips, and schedules them across social platforms without constant manual effort. That is exactly where tools like Vizard come into play, serving as an all-in-one platform for your entire video repurposing strategy. If you have ever tried to manually chop a 40-minute interview into viral clips, you know the pain of listening for punchlines and managing export ratios. Vizard automates this by finding high engagement segments, generating ready-to-post clips, and even managing your posting calendar for you. Think about the efficiency gap. With the manual script-based route, you are still left with the heavy lifting of cutting, formatting, and scheduling everything yourself. Even consumer apps like Google Recorder are great for quick notes on your phone, but they just aren't designed for professional, batch-produced social media workflows. If you want raw accuracy and love to tinker with code, the local Whisper setup is fantastic, but it is not a scalable publishing system. For the majority of creators who care about consistency and speed, you need a high-level tool that understands your creator goals. I am not saying Vizard is a perfect magic bullet for everyone, especially if you have highly bespoke visual needs or require specific manual effects. However, for most creators who want to stop babysitting every single post, it really hits the sweet spot between technology and utility. What I really appreciate is how it folds auto-editing, auto-scheduling, and content calendar management into one seamless, organized interface. This is especially powerful for teams where multiple people need to coordinate on what content is going live and when it hits the audience. To wrap this up, if you are purely interested in the tech, absolutely go explore those Whisper notebooks on GitHub to learn how it works. But if your ultimate goal is to scale your content production from long form to short form, tools like Vizard are well worth checking out. They handle the repetitive, error-prone grunt work so you can stay focused on the most important important part of your job, creating amazing content. That is my take on the transcription space, and if you want, I can drop those Colab links and show a direct comparison in my next video. Also, if you want a walkthrough on setting up an automated calendar for your backlog of episodes, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I look forward to seeing what you create with these tools. So until next time, happy creating.